Hey everyone, and welcome to this Dota 2 beginner's guide on how to play Crystal Maiden. In this guide, I'll be taking you through everything you need to know to get started with Crystal Maiden, including her item progressions and builds, and her skill builds as well. I'm also going to include some in-game examples on how her skills can be utilized to good effectiveness throughout the laning stage all the way to the end game. Let's get started. Now, the first thing you need to know about Crystal Maiden is that she is a support. She's not played in any core roles currently. That's not to say that some people don't try and grief and go mid-CM every once in a while, but generally speaking, people play Crystal Maiden in the position 5 role. Her builds are technically kind of like variant. Her skills are all extremely useful. You have Crystal Nova, which is an AoE, slow, attack speed slow, and damage dealing ability. That's damage can basically be multiplied by 5 if you hit all 5 enemy heroes. You also have Frostbite, which serves as a root and a disable that can be used to secure kills and secure running enemies. You also have Arcane Aura, which is absolutely fantastic. It's basically a free clarity for you as a CM every single minute. And it helps your team greatly throughout the laning stage and the late game to maintain their mana. And then finally, you have Freezing Field, her ultimate, which is basically like a self-sacrifice, which does tremendous damage and slow over a large AoE. However, you're probably going to die once you use it. But she has fantastic skills, and the skill order is very is very flexible, but I'm going to provide you with what I believe to be the best skill build for someone getting started. Now, with regards to her roles, she is a support and a nuker and a disabler. She does a lot of damage up front. A lot of people think Crystal Maiden is like weak. Crystal Maiden's a support, she's weak. But when you consider that Frostbite does, has a root and does damage to a hero, and then you have Crystal Nova, which hits for 130 damage, 170 damage, and so on, she actually does quite a bit of nuking damage, especially when you consider that Crystal Nova in the laning stage can hit multiple heroes at once. She does a lot of damage, and a lot of people kind of underestimate that, and lanes against Crystal Maiden can be very detrimental. She combos very well with some heroes as well. I'll show you here. So basically, she combos very well with heroes like Juggernaut, for instance. But here is an idea of who you need to ban and avoid. I always try and ban someone like Tidehunter. The reason for this is because Tidehunter has Kraken Shell, which provides him with a strong dispel, which kind of removes all your slows and roots and stuff like that. Okay, Tidehunter can be very difficult to deal with in the laning stage. Legion Commander is the same. For the same reason. Press the Attack is a strong dispel, so she can rid herself and her allies of your slows and disables. Okay? These are the two that I like to ban. Bristleback also gets banned as well because you're just so immobile that he can chase you down, cool spray you to death almost every single time. Crystal Maiden is very slow. She has almost no move speed whatsoever. She literally starts at 280, which I believe might be one of the absolute slowest in the game. Literally one of the slowest in the game. It's like someone like Hoodwink, who's at 320, basically has free boots compared to Crystal Maiden. So bear that in mind. And so, people like Bristleback have to get banned out. Nyx Assassin can basically one-shot her later in the game. Very difficult hero to deal with. You have Juggernaut and Lifestealer. Basically, you have Juggernaut and Lifestealer, and the reason why that they need to be banned, if you feel like, if you feel like it, is because they have skills like the Blade Fury and the Rage, which makes them magic immune, which basically makes them immune to everything you do. So you're basically useless against them. Luna is a natural BKB builder. You have someone like Pudge, who because you're so immobile, he pulls you out of position and you're just dead. You just die. There's nothing else you can do. Clinks can just chew you apart and just kind of make quick work of you with his Orchid. You have Bounty Hunter, similar to Nyx Assassin, can be very problematic once he initiates on top of you. Doom can just doom you and you die. Doom can do that to anybody. Clockwork can cogs you and initiate on top of you, and you just have no recourse. Jakiro does a great job of zoning you and does a lot of damage at range. It can be difficult to deal with as well. And you have finally Tusk, who once he gets on top of you, can just kill you right away. He's very so Crystal Maiden's also very good against highly mobile heroes that rely on mobility in order to survive. Heroes like Queen of Pain, Puck, Slark, PA, and Anti-Mage, they all rely on being able to kind of weave in and out of battle with Pounce or Blinks or whatever it might be, and when you root them in place with Frostbite, you make them very vulnerable to your team. Heroes like, PL, who require a lot of illusions, Naga, they are susceptible to CM because of the area of effect damage that you can do, which then will identify who the real PL is and make it very difficult for them to escape. And, you know, the AoE damage on Broodmother's little broodlings and being able to secure her when she's running away through her webs is very important as well. And being able to frostbite, you know, Chen and Druid's summons very effectively is also a major component as well. As with all my guides, I do recommend you have backups. For Crystal Maiden, I like to run a backup of Ogre Magi and Shadow Shaman. Ogre Magi is a great fighter, Shadow Shaman a great lane and tower pusher, but again, it's up to you, whoever you're comfortable with at the end of the day. Now let's jump into demo mode and talk about skills and item progression. Alright, let's talk about Crystal Maiden's skills. The first thing you need to know is that this guide will be available both in-game if you go to Beginner's Guide Crystal Maiden by Octavarium, and I'll also include a link to it in the description and in the comments section below so that you can link directly to the Steam Workshop, favorite it, and add it to your list of in-game guides. With that being said, let's talk about her skills first. Now this guide does include suggested skill builds all the way to level 30 basically, but I'm going to show you the first few skill builds to level 10. So first what you start with is Crystal Nova. The reason why you start with Crystal Nova is because it provides an AoE slow and damage, which is great in the laning phase. Now be aware that Crystal Maiden utilizes a lot of her mana very quickly. So if you cast Crystal Nova and then Frostbite at level 2, you're basically out of mana. Okay, you're basically out of mana. But what you'll note is that she does have relatively high intelligence gain at 3.3 per level, and she naturally has at level 3 her Arcane Aura, which provides her with a significant amount of regeneration, about 90 per minute. So it's almost like a free clarity every single minute. Not quite a clarity, it's a little more, but hey, you're not paying for it, right? That's why at level 3, you take Arcane Aura. So level 1, Crystal Nova. Level 2, Frostbite. Level 3, Arcane Aura. The reason for this is so that you can sustain yourself through the laning stage. And then what you do is you're going to actually prioritize your Frostbite next at level 4 and level 5. The reason for this is because the hero duration is increasing significantly, half a second every single time, and a 2.5 second root duration can be the difference between life and death and securing a kill or not. It's very valuable. At level 6, now, you could skip Freezing Field, okay, because it's so mana intensive, it's hard to cast everything early on as Crystal Maiden. However, I do suggest having it because it can be a very useful kind of trump card to play when you are stuck or when you're defending a tower, which is often around your level 6 mark anyway. At level 7, you're securing your Frostbite at level 4. So early on, you're going to be maxing your Frostbite first. Heroes are going to be very vulnerable at this stage of the game. They're going to have very low HP. They're not going to be farmed. They're not going to have BKBs. So getting Frostbite first will allow you to secure them and get early kills with you and your teammates. You're then going to go with the Arcane Aura, maxing it before you go Crystal Nova. You then take Crystal Nova. And finally, at level 10, you have your talents. Now, all of her talents are very viable. One could argue that maybe the attack speed is not very viable, but people still like to get it. But I do recommend that you take 200 health over the AoE damage. Not the AoE, sorry, just not the AoE damage. Just the straight up AoE. It has a significant impact on the AoE of Crystal Nova, but listen, you're a Crystal Maiden. Do you know how far 200 health goes? That's the difference between like getting 1 shot and getting 2 shot. You'd rather get 2 shot, right? Just so at least you can get a spell off. But the 200 health is just too damn valuable for a position 5 support, so you take it every time. Alright. Now that we've talked about the skills, let me actually kind of show you how they work as well. So I'm going to bring out an enemy. Hey, Mr. Axe. Nobody gets beat on like poor Axe. Now, the first thing you need to understand here is I'm going to select another enemy just so we have a little bit of a variant here. So we'll drop Beastmaster here. So we have 2 enemies here. Okay, I'm going to drop a ward so we keep vision, because nighttime is coming. Winter is coming. So Crystal Nova is best used. So it's a nuke, right? Crystal Nova is a nuke, and we understand that. The thing is that you want to utilize it in the laning stage, and I'll talk about it in the examples. You want to hit multiple heroes with it, okay? So you want to make good use of it. Like if I just do this on this guy, I'm doing, yes, I hit him for some damage, but this guy took no damage whatsoever. You effectively double your damage just by hitting 2 people. Now, one thing that I will also note as well is that something that you need to realize is that Crystal Nova does damage throughout its AoE. So let's say, I see a lot of new players do this, okay? So make note of this. So you want to hit Axe. Axe is running away, right? And you're trying to click on top of Axe to cast the AoE Crystal Nova. But you don't need to do that. If Axe is near death, you can actually cast, like, because look, I can't cast it here, so I'll try and run, right? But you can cast it on the fringe. As long as you hit him, as long as it's in the AoE, he takes the same amount of damage. So don't just consider the cast range, consider the actual cone of effect. Because if I want to hit Beastmaster, right? I'm still hitting Beastmaster from this range, even though it's far outside my cast point, right? Get what I'm saying? So if you have an escaping enemy, it's often very useful to cast this. So it's kind of hard to do here. So he's running away. You cast this at the kind of peak of your AoE, and he still gets slowed by it, which is very important, okay? Frostbite is excellent as well, because what it does, let's say someone's TPing, it will cancel their TP, okay? And they won't be able to move. They take some damage, but the damage isn't the main priority. The main thing about Frostbite is making it so he cannot move, and it allows your team to initiate on top of them very effectively. What you might also want to do is consider stacking your Frostbite and Crystal Nova together. Now, if they're not free, what you'll notice is say he's running away. We do this. We're poking him just before the root is done. You cast this so he's slowed as well. And now he has basically 10 seconds where he's very vulnerable. You see that? Right? A lot of new players will tend to do this. They'll do this. They'll nuke him, then they'll cast the Frostbite, and look at this. And then the guy starts running away. He's slowed a little bit, but now he's not slowed anymore. Because the entire slow duration of Crystal Nova was being applied while he was stuck in Frostbite. So what you actually want to do is you don't want to stack them together. You want to use Frostbite first, and just as the root duration is done, then you cast, and now he's a full duration of Crystal Nova, which makes it significantly harder for him to get away. You want to make sure you time your abilities like that effectively. Now, Arcane Aura is also a fantastic ability, and partially because it provides you with, at level 15, which is my recommendation, that you take these 6% magic resistance Arcane Aura for your whole team. It's effectively much more for you. You end up with about, watch, I'll show you here. So we'll level up to max here. So look, we have 25% magic resistance, if you can see in the defense slot. Once I actually take this, you notice it jumps all the way to 38%. Because you get a bonus factor because it's your self, right? Self bonus factor. So you get a self bonus factor for the arcane resistance as well. 40% magic resistance is basically a lot. And considering that Glimmer Cape is a core item built on Crystal Maiden, having 47% magic resistance, when you use it, it goes up to 71. That's a lot. It's a lot of magic resistance, right? So a very viable skill indeed. With regards to Freezing Field is one of those skills that does a lot of damage, but unfortunately makes you extremely vulnerable because someone's just going to walk up to you and they're going to try and cancel it. Okay? A taunt will cancel it, a stun will cancel it. There's so many things that'll cancel it, right? So when you use Freezing Field, expect to die. But you'll notice that it does a big radius. It does a lot of damage. It gives you bonus physical armor, which is important to know. So someone who's just right-clicking you, they won't be able to effectively kill you because of all the bonus armor you're getting, okay? So bear that in mind as well. You get movement slow, and it does a lot of damage as well. And you'll notice that there's little explosions happening everywhere. It's the explosions that are actually doing the damage, okay? So bear that in mind, okay? But that there is Freezing Field. And by the way, for skills like this, I strongly recommend that you utilize... So if you go to hotkeys here, there is a... there's an option here. Where is it here? Uh-oh, why can't I find it all of a sudden? There's an option. Where's the option? Uh-oh. There's an option to... There. I was going to say, Alex, I'm like, where is it? Channeled abilities require stop and hold, okay? It's very important you have this checked. The reason for this is because if you don't have it checked and you're doing this and you right-click, you'll just cancel. I think a lot of new players will do that by accident and get really frustrated because they're nervous and they cancel their ultimate, okay? So what you do is you go to options, you go to channeled abilities require hold and stop. And what you do here is, so now if I have my channeled ability and I'm clicking, I don't move. I have to hit the stop command, which is by default S, to cancel it. Okay? That also works for TPs, so I can't just accidentally cancel my own TP. I have to hit S to actually cancel my TP. A very valuable skill for anybody with a channeled ability, okay? The other thing is you can also use Frostbite to kill creeps. They're very effective, and then you kind of nuke waves with your Q as well. All right? Let's talk about item progression. We're going to move on over here. I'm going to just skill these so it's not blinking on me here. All right, so we already talked about the Glimmer Cape here, but let's actually move on to starting items. Starting items, I recommend these here. The reason for this is quite simple. You need tangles because you need to sustain your health. You need a healing salve for both yourself and for your carry. Remember, you're a position 5 support. That salve should probably be used on your carry in order to sustain them in the lane as they take damage, okay? Because a lot of carries begin very weak. It's very important that you provide them with that added sustain to keep them in lane so they can keep getting farm and keep getting experience. A mango. The reason why you use a mango is because her skills are incredibly expensive. And there'll be times where like you cast both your Q and your W, and the opponent's almost dead, and they're just about to get away, but you don't have the mana. So early on, when Crystal Maiden has a very low mana pool, you use the Enchanted Mango, you eat it to restore 100 mana to help you cast the abilities. The problem is you have to also note that 100 mana isn't actually quite enough to cast any of these abilities, because their abilities are so expensive as it is. So bear that in mind, okay? It also adds a little bit of passive regeneration too. You're also going with the Clarity to start, because as you're pulling and stuff like that, and as you're moving throughout the map, the Clarity in the early game will help you to regenerate your mana, because unfortunately your mana or your spells are so mana intensive, and your starting intelligence pool is so small. You need the Clarity to sustain, because once you cast 2 or 3 spells, your mana's gone. Okay, especially in the early game. Finally, we have our Windlace. Now, the Windlace is important because it builds into the main item progression, which is your Tranquil Boots. Okay, you start with the Windlace because she is so slow. Unbelievably slow. And it makes stacking hard, it makes moving hard. If enemies engage on you, you basically just die. So the extra 20 move speed actually makes a big difference, and you're still slower than some heroes naturally start at, which is crazy. So the Windlace is super important. From there, you're going to be buying your Ring of Regen to help sustain you in the lane. Hey, extra regen counts, right? Why not? And finally, when you get the mana, you go to Boots of Speed. The reason why you go Boots of Speed over... it's not Boots of Speed. Tranquil Boots, my apologies. So you get your Tranquil Boots. The reason why you're going Tranquil Boots is because, A, they give you a lot of move speed at 65 bonus move speed, whereas something like your Arcanes will only give you 45. The other thing is that CM does have good... intelligence gain at 3.3 per level, so she eventually has enough mana to cast everything she wants, and her regeneration gets to a point where she can cast everything she wants. So you really don't need the Arcane Boots at all. What you do need is the sustain of being able to move quickly and regenerate your health as you move across the map and rotate, okay? Tranquil Boots are necessary. Do not buy Arcane Boots because you just do not need it, okay? You just don't. Now, one could make the argument that you can go Arcane Boots into Aether Lens, possible, and then build your Tranquil Boots. But for the purpose of this guy, let's keep it simple. I do recommend you go Tranquil Boots. From there, okay, let's get rid of our starting items for a second here. So you've used all your starting items. Your main item progression is Tranquil Boots, okay? Tranquil Boots are also way less expensive. Then into Glimmer Cape, okay? Glimmer Cape, you're going to prioritize getting your cloak first for the added magic resistance, and then you'll take the Shadow Amulet, which will allow you to kind of hide invisible, right? As long as you're not moving, once you move, you're invisible again. But it might be the difference between living and dying, right? Sometimes you can just hide, stay safe, right? If you cast a spell, obviously you are going to be visible, and you can't cast it, yeah, you can cast it, sorry, while you're actually using your ult, so it's very valuable as well. So again, I'll show you that quickly. So if you're ulting, right, and you cast your Shadow Amulet, you'll actually go invisible, okay? It's pretty valuable. Okay, pretty good for early on. I do recommend you take the added magic resistance to deal with the harassment and whatnot in lane. Once you get to your Glimmer Cape, the reason why you're using Glimmer Cape is for a couple reasons, okay? Now, first of all, a lot of people often kind of sleep on the fact that it gives a lot of extra magic resistance. So if you have a teammate who's about to die, you can cast Glimmer Cape on them to help them get away. It'll also help you get away in certain circumstances. Also, Crystal Maiden does not have an escape. So if you have enemies that are on top of you, right? And they initiate on top of you, you just die. You can use your Glimmer Cape. Oh, it's on cooldown. Oops. You use your Glimmer Cape, and they can't attack you, they can't see you, unless, of course, they use dust or you're under a sentry and whatnot as well. The other reason why it's very valuable early in the game is because if they don't have any vision on you, you can actually cast your ult and then go invisible so that you can basically kill them unless they utilize their... they have some sort of detection, okay? So it can help you survive a little longer. It adds a little... kind of a little consideration to the other team where they have to, well, we got to carry dust. CM has a Glimmer Cape and she keeps ulting us, okay? From there, you're going to go Force Staff. Now, Force Staff is good because it allows you to reposition. So if you're in trouble, you can reposition as well. It also allows you to reposition enemies. So if you want to, you know, pull an enemy towards you, you absolutely can. You can actually push allies away if you wish as well. You can actually push yourself away as well. So if someone's chasing you, you push yourself away. Very useful. I have free spells. You can also do stuff like this, where you go invisible if you have if you don't want to get reported for suspicious movements anyway. I'll show you with the Agnum Shard here. But what you can also do is you can also use it as an initiation. So what you can do with the Glimmer Cape and the Force Staff, stop attacking CM, is you can actually glimmer, and as the glimmer is fading, you can force staff in and then alt. And you'll go invisible, and they likely didn't notice where you actually landed. Now, they can kind of tell, but in the heat of moment, it can be hard to actually identify where the Crystal Maiden is. So your kind of movement combo is fade, go, cast your spell. Okay? You can also, because when you're moving, you're technically visible. You can also do it this way too if you wish. You can go like this, go invisible, cast your spell. Okay? Doesn't matter. Whatever you choose to do, as long as you're going invisible, you can use the Force Staff as a good initiation tool as well, okay? So I just wanted to show you that. Finally, I want to show you what the Aghanim's Shard does, which is the last part of your core build. What the Aghanim's Shard does is it allows you to move and cast spells while you're casting your freezing field, which is super valuable, and let me show you why. So, we have this here. Now, first of all, being able to just move is very valuable. You're moving very slowly, but you're moving. The nice thing about this as well is that you can kind of move. You could frostbite someone to secure the kill, because now they can't escape you, right? And also, see how he taunted me? Because he didn't stun me, I actually continued casting. Okay, let me show that one more time. So because movement does not dispel my my ultimate, Axe Berserker's Calling Me does not actually end it. Okay, so it actually takes some of the things that could end the ult out of the equation, because Axe's taunt, which basically was forced movement, would have canceled my ult prior, but now it doesn't, okay? But the other key thing here is that you can actually cast spells, you can frostbite a guy, keep them in position so that you can basically kill them with your ultimate, okay? A very valuable skill. Hey, why aren't you stopping? I don't want him to die yet. Very good. Now let's talk about optional items. Optional items. Aether Lens. The reason why Aether Lens is very valuable is, let's say there's a game where you really don't need a Force Staff. Okay, there's no Slark, there's no Clockwork. Heroes that really need you to reposition quickly. Okay, you don't need your Force Staff, you never buy it. And with experience, you'll start to learn when's a good Force Staff game and when is not. You can get something like an Aether Lens. What Aether Lens does, I want you to kind of understand, yes, it gives you the extra mana regeneration, and yes, it gives you the extra mana. That helps, but what you're really after is the actual cast range. The reason for this is because Crystal Maiden has okay cast range, but like, you don't want to be very close. Look at the cast range as she keeps attacking. The cast range of Frostbite is very close. That's close enough that, like, you know, at 6, sorry, what's the cast range here? The reason why I'm saying that, so 550 is the cast range. That means that stop attacking. That means that a ranged hero can attack you before you can Frostbite. So like a Drow Ranger, a Hoodwink, because most ranged heroes, as a basis, have 600 attack range, okay? Frostbite's 550. So that means that they can initiate attacks on you before you can Frostbite them, okay? Crystal Nova's a little further, and also bear in mind that you have the effect of the actual, the area of effect, right? So it can go much farther than that. But with the actual Aether Lens, so look, there's the, Here I come. I'll show you here. So that's basically the attack range. That's the range of Frostbite, more or less. When you add in the Aether Lens, okay, you're going to see it significantly further. Everything's significantly further. And the result of that is you can actually secure, you can secure kills from a greater distance while remaining safer yourself, okay? A very important consideration. You also have Ghost Scepter. If you caught any of my other videos, you'll know why I'm utilizing Ghost Scepter. The reason for this is because when you get initiated on, okay, you can utilize Ghost Scepter to become immune to physical damage, okay? So it almost takes the place of Glimmer Cape, but it's only good against physical damage. If someone hits you like a Lina, does magic damage, like she's just going to kill you because she's just Laguna Blade you and you die. But Ghost Scepter is very good for right clickers like PAs and others that just want to get on top of you and just hit you till you die, okay? It kind of is redundant with Glimmer Cape though, so I don't often get it, but it is something that is worth getting if you so choose. Aeon Disc is great because it basically gives you a second life. If you get initiated on, which is frequent, right, you will get a second life. Just bear in mind that all damage being done during the debuff duration is basically nil, so you won't be doing any damage. However, you will survive, which is very beneficial. It's all about survival at the end of the day. Blink Dagger is really good too. Blink Dagger on CM is a great item because especially with Frostbite, what you can do is you can blink, Frostbite, and then kind of get out. You can initiate much more effectively by utilizing your Blink Dagger, right? You can also do this. You can blink in and you can ult, right? I was attacking. That's not exactly what I wanted to do there. Alex, bad example, Alex. Okay, bad example. Let me try that again. Okay, so what you can do, pretend I didn't do that, okay? I'm not editing this video. So pretend that you can blink, alt. Okay? Oh yeah. You can still cast stuff. That's right. There you go. First blood. See ya. Double kill. Hell yeah. So you can utilize the blink dagger to like initiate your ultimate. You can use it to, you know, kind of initiate on top of an enemy so that you can essentially make good use of your skills like frostbite and etc. Okay. Finally, Aghanim's Scepter. This is super greedy, and honestly, I don't really like it that much. What it does is it essentially adds... It basically, anybody that's in Freezing Field will get a debuff applied to them. So I'll show you here. So let's bring up some new enemies. Max them out. So you'll notice that there is... okay, so they get hit. If they're in there too long, they get a free frostbite. Now, the reason why I don't love it, the reason why I don't completely love it, honestly, is because if you have the Aghanim's Shard, you can just frostbite yourself anyway while you're ulting. Because you can utilize all your spells, right? So it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Just bear that in mind, because although it's good, and I know a lot of new players like building it, I do recommend that this is like the last thing on your list you should be building. I don't think it's that great. The free frostbite is beneficial, but realistically with the shard, you can just cast it yourself. It has a relatively low cooldown of 6 seconds, and it's unlikely you hit like 5 heroes in your freezing field, but when you do, it feels great. But you know, I'm just including it there because I know that there's people that are interested in and like it, but realistically, I would much rather you buy an Aether Lens and an Aeon Disc to survive longer, okay? And finally, I'm including support items here in the list here. These are things that you should be buying every game. Getting Obs Wards, you should be getting Sentry Wards non-stop. Dust of Appearance if they have Invisible Heroes. Buying the Smokes of Deceit so they're off cooldown, right? You should be doing these things, and I just have them here because I know a lot of new players, you know, they don't want to dig around the menu. If it's just right here, it's a little faster for you guys, okay? Anyways, let's move on to the in-game examples. Now that we've talked about our skills and items, let's get to it. Alright, in this first example, I'm Crystal Maiden here in a ranked match, and I'm going to illustrate to you how you can utilize your skills to good effectiveness to secure kills in a variety of ways. So first thing, right, I just got my my Tranquil Boots as my first item of priority. I'm doing the skill build that I talked about earlier, and what we're going to do here, we have a Juggernaut, and I know that he has Blade Fury available, you know, he actually went early skill into his Healing Ward, so his Blade Fury is a little weak, but look, he Blade Furies, I utilized my, my slow here. Now, what I did do, I made a bit of a mistake. I overlapped my skills slightly, and the result of that is this Legion Commander was almost able to get away. Now, I'm utilizing this example to show you the difference, okay? Because, look at this. I made a mistake. I have the root, and then the slow I dropped it too early. And look at the slow duration, okay? Juggernaut is not able to keep up here. He gets stuck, but look at this. Had she been slowed a fraction longer... right? It would have been easier to track down this kill, okay? Maybe she would have died right there instead of having to run around and possibly have her get away. Mistake on my part. That's why it's very important that you time your skills appropriately, and I'll show you an example where I do it better later on. But here's a good example of she's almost out of range, but I hit her with the edge of my Crystal Nova, okay? Not the actual cast point of Crystal Nova, but rather I hit her with the edge of Crystal Nova, okay? So you're gonna see she's running away. I'm pretty far from her here. Right, so I'm going to have my player perspective on. Where is Crystal Maiden? Okay, I see that she's running away. My Crystal Nova just came to effect. You can see she's out of my range. She's out of the cast range. But what I'm able to do is I'm able to cast it so I hit her on the periphery of the skill. Okay, very important to understand. If you don't understand that, that kill does not happen. Okay, so there's an example. Again, note how you actually stack your abilities. I did not do it well there. I'll do better in an example later on. But also keep in mind that the cast range of Crystal Nova is deceiving because you can hit enemies far outside your cast range itself. In this example, I'm going to illustrate to you how you can use your abilities to nuke down enemy targets. So I'm the Crystal Maiden, and I know, because I have an Observer Ward placed here, that Pugna is at 400 HP. And I know that with my abilities, I do a tremendous amount of damage. Juggernaut is also at full health and has enough mana for a Blade Fury. So we ping the Pugna, we say let's go on him. Legion Commander's out in the distance here. Now I make a decision. I lock down the Pugna first so that the Juggernaut can get on top. I also see that Legion Commander's in range, so I make the decision to slow the Legion Commander, and I give up a little bit of overlap time on the Pugna, but what I wanted to do was I wanted to slow the Legion Commander so that Juggernaut could better impact the Pugna. Juggernaut changes his mind and focuses on the Legion Commander. Now, I'm on top of this Pugna, but what you'll see is a very well-timed Decrepify, but thankfully, I have Frostbite, and Pugna's dead, right? Now, the nice thing about this kill here is that Pugna did not really realize he was going to die. Pugna's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm at half health, but I'm okay, right? Juggernaut, I'll run away if I see him, because Pugna's speed is tremendous, 330 with just naked boots, basically. He doesn't realize that once I root him and slow him, his health's just gone. Look at this burst damage, okay? He's taking damage there, a tremendous amount of damage there, and look, now he's just gone. That's basically 350 damage right off the hop. He had a magic wand, which sustained him a little bit. But like at half health against a Crystal Maiden, you're basically dead. He would have died there if it wasn't for his very timely decrepify. He dies there regardless, and of course Legion Commander chases me nonstop. But at the end of the day, guys, it's very important you understand and identify when you see enemies that are at half health and are kind of really not respecting the amount of burst damage you can do as a Crystal Maiden. Hit them. Hit them hard, because you do a ton of damage and you're able to secure a lot of kills and assists that way. I love this next example. It does a great job of illustrating to you the power of Glimmer Cape and your ultimate. So they see that I'm at half health here. I'm not too concerned. I got Tranquil Boots. What ends up happening here is this TA sees me and they ping me. They say, oh, we're going on this CM. We want to kill this CM. We want to take this tower. They do a big rotation here. Pugna, look, 3. That's their mid TA. Offlane Legion Commander. They're positioned for Pugna. They want me dead. I know they're coming, right? I'm like, oh no, I'm getting under tower here. Now they want to kill me. This is their main goal. They're not really after the objective as much as they want to kill me for whatever reason. Look what happens next, okay? Right, they try and get on top of me here, and what do? Right, use my abilities, both of them first, and then I cast my ultimate. The order's important. I rooted them, I queued them with my Nova, and then I went invisible, and I cast my ultimate. My Centaur War Runner did a fantastic job to TP when they did. Ultimately, I do die, but I take a lot of guys with me. A lot of guys with me. So look, now my team rotated very effectively. Legion Commander dies as well, okay? Overall, absolutely excellent, right? So, so a little bit of BM there, but hey, what are you going to do? Good job, you got me is what I said. But I want to just illustrate that again here. I want to just show you guys why this replay is so interesting. So again, they initiate on top of me, okay? Okay, I'm not actually glimmered. It's a bug in the replay where I'm just going to be glimmered for no reason here. But I want to illustrate to you guys why it's so important, the order of skills that I used. I know that I'm near full mana. I know I can cast everything, okay? So I immediately Frostbite. I see that he's here. Pugna's out of range. I immediately Crystal Nova, and then I ultimate. I used my full mana bar and effectively used all my cooldowns. I didn't just cast my ult. I Frostbit, I Crystal Nova'd, and then I ultimate. Used my ultimate, and then went invisible. And then they couldn't hit me, and then Centaur did a great job dropping the stun, okay? The result of this is I'm doing a massive field of damage on everybody. Phoenix did a great job bringing Pugna into the field of effect as well, and ultimately we basically wiped this team, right? I end up going down, but I'm in position 5. We take their mid with their 4, we take their offlaner. It's a huge win for us, all because I was able to effectively utilize my tower, my ultimate, and my Glimmer Cape to good effect. In this final example, I'm going to show you how you can utilize your spells in proper order in order to take advantage of an enemy who's out of position, okay? The first thing you need to do is know who you're against. I'm against a Legion Commander with a Blink Dagger, so I'm keeping my eyes open, and the moment that I hear that sound and see this Legion Commander, I'm like, nope, I back off right away, and the reason why I do that is I want to avoid getting dueled, right? Once I hear that the Centaur is ulted and comes in, I put myself on the high ground into a safe position because I know the other team is roughly in that area as well, right? What I do is I Frostbite. While I'm Frostbiting, I'm still auto-attacking, right? And then just before the Frostbite's over, I use my Crystal Nova and we secure the kill. Let me show you that again one more time. So I move back. Okay, I'll show you this in slow motion. We get a good stun here on the Legion Commander. I position myself on the high ground because, well, earlier I know that TA was in this area. They happen to not be there right now. Okay, we get the Frostbite as the root. Okay, we also had the Rod of Ados as well. As the Frostbite root expires, which you'll see here, I cast my Q in order to ensure that they're slowed, and then they die. Okay, so that allows us to lock down the Legion Commander for a long period of time. Yes, there was a Rod of Ados, but at the end of the day, right, we're able to lock them down and do good work. Again, a little bit of alt chat there. But at the end of the day, guys, this is how you can play Crystal Maiden to good effect in order to achieve success in Dota 2. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to get to them. And also a reminder that the full guide is available in the comments section in the Dota 2 client and in the description of this video as well. Oh, look at that spray. What a beauty. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and a very special thank you to all of our wonderful subscribers. Take care, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next Hero Guide video.